What's up, Motorheads, and welcome back to Gearbox Pizza. Imagine a brand new car company that decided to waltz into the EV scene with a twist of retro elegance and a dusting of future tech razzle-dazzle. That's Olympian Motors. A car company that's more about giving the EV market a dash of panache than just another soulless muscle sedan or wind tunnel friendly SUV. Alright, so who are these guys? Well, some of you may have noticed them popping up on Insta. That's where I noticed them, at least. And look, they're from New York and they're pretty much just getting started, haven't been founded in 2021. They've got plenty of ambition and 2 models they're working on. Okay, so let's start with the super cool one, the one you're here for and the one that we both want. I'm talking about the Model 84. Before we get into it, it seems very much to be in the very early stages. From what I can tell, there's no built prototype and everything I found is CG, but look, that's okay. I gotta say, I love this thing. I love it. As a fan of quirky old school 2-door convertible SUVs, this thing is just bananas awesome. Now, on their website, they do say they'll deliver a limited edition run of 310 units in 2024. Not sure how that's even remotely possible, but boy, would I love to be wrong on this one. And oddly enough, they also claim that this is the first electric convertible SUV in the US. Guys, did you forget about the Hummer? I mean, I almost did, but you may want to retract that statement on the website. Anyway, so let's focus on the design a bit. And the first thing I thought of when I saw this thing was that old Lambo LM, which is absolutely one of the coolest SUVs ever made, period. And this looks like, well, like the mini sort of fun size version of that, which I sort of love. So how about the specs? Well, they're claiming a very reasonable 0 to 60 time of 8.1 seconds, which might feel a little slow by modern EV standards, but hey, should be plenty fast or something like this. And then they're also claiming a sort of unbelievable, well, not sort of, let's just go with completely unbelievable top speed of 150 miles an hour.
You're a liar!
And what's this? Look, wait a sec. If you drill down into the performance listings on their website, you'll see a top speed claim of 160 miles an hour. I will literally eat a shoe, make that 2, if this thing can hit 160 miles an hour. Like that 0 to 60, why would you even bother with a top speed past, I don't know, say 100 miles an hour? I mean, that's plenty, guys, seriously. But that's not the only discrepancy I found on the website, and look, more on that soon. Here they're also telling us that this thing's going to make 340 horsepower and 355 pound-feet of torque. And then there's one sort of disappointment. Yep, rear wheel drive. Guys, I'm sure I'm speaking for literally everybody. Give at least this thing an all-wheel drive option, please. Okay, so battery, 89 kilowatt hours, which is plenty. And range-wise, well, they say both 335 miles of range and 240 miles of range. I'm not exactly sure which one to believe, but seeing as this thing's actually pretty tiny, I could see the 335 miles being pretty reasonable with a battery this size. And speaking of size, the 84 comes in at 154 inches of length, which for reference is about the same length as a Mini Cooper. Pricing, well, it's gonna start around 70 grand, which, yeah, look, may seem like a lot, but you're paying for style here. Style and form and function that just really doesn't exist. And yeah, the Hummer might be the real first SUV convertible EV, but it's also the size of a regulation pickleball court. The 84 is fun size. The convertible, mega cool looking, and there's just really about no competition if you really think about it. Now, I really hope to see some real rolling prototypes of this thing sometime soon, as before that, well, I'll sort of be holding my breath. I mean, I really hope this thing is real, I really do. And then there's the Flagship that's getting the priority treatment, calling it the Model 01. And before we get into it, real quick, anybody else notice that the CG renders and everything on the website show a 4-door while the prototype is a 2-door? I mean, I noticed this looking at the footage. The prototype's doors are this cool rear hinge suicide door sort of thing, like a Rolls Royce, while the 4-door looks like it might be missing a B-pillar, meaning the rear doors would be rear hinged. Anyway, so aside from this great Gatsby styling, what else do we know? Well, that styling does follow you into the interior, lots of nice looking hardwoods, metals and such. Oh, notice the stick shift? Yeah, I kind of wonder what that's all about. And there's no screens anywhere, and that's by choice. Instead, they're planning on using this augmented reality HUD along with voice command. Alright, so what about the specs? So 0 to 60 comes in a claimed 5.7 seconds, which isn't fast, nope, but that's not really the point of this thing. They claim a top speed of 160 miles an hour, but again, I seriously doubt that's real. There's just no way. I mean, unless there's something really bizarre going on. I mean, with a 0 to 60 time like that, how can this possibly have enough power to hit 160 miles an hour? Just not buying it. And then there's the battery, 82 kilowatt hours, which is good for, well, either 250 miles or 305 miles. Look, oddly enough, again, they're sort of saying both on the website. So if you're in New York, San Francisco, Santa Monica, or Miami though, you'll be able to sign up for a test drive, which I am totally gonna do. So, all right, the price, 80 grand. Not cheap, but if you're in that group that just loves the way this thing looks, or you're really into like the roaring 20s cosplay, well, there's just nothing else quite like this. I mean, that is unless you import a Morgan from across the pond. They're also open for investment if this is your thing. They've raised about 12 million so far, which is great, but there's obviously way more money that needs to be raised. Bottom line, is this thing for real? Like, I don't know. I personally really would love for them to be real. And look, the switch to electric has opened the doors to all sorts of newcomers in the automotive space. There's something we haven't really seen in like 80 years. From a design perspective, I just love that you're doing something totally different. Specifically with that 84. Time will tell though. And getting a brand new automaker to production and then to profit is just one of the hardest things to do in business. But it can be done, and I'm cheering for them.